Hey everyone, it's Justine and welcome for my second video today for the Altenew new release blog hop. Today I'm going to be making two different sets of cards and I'm going to be using the Never Give Up stamp set, and I'm going to be die cutting all of the coordinating tree dies here onto some Inkadinkado masking paper. I'm going to be using the very brand new mini die cutting machine from Altenew in order to create these panels. This is really an amazing tool, as I said in video 1, because it cuts so many dies. These are fairly large, so I mean it won't cut your nesting dies and things like that, the larger sizes. However, it's really great to have for traveling or for keeping on your desktop there for quick die cutting. So I finished cutting out all 4 of those masks, and I'm going to make 4 different cards using those masks. So I'm peeling off the back of the Inkadinkado masking paper and I'm sticking it onto my card. Now I'm going to be using several different masks here to create different looks, and I'm going to be using some really nice tropical colors in Altenew inks. I'm going to be using my blending tool and blending in a circular motion and blending these colors together. I'm using Lagoon, Puffy Heart, and Warm Sunshine to create kind of those tropical looks. I don't know if you remember them from like the 90s when you used to get those really pretty sunset backgrounds with the black trees in front. I don't know, I just remember seeing those images all the time, and I kind of wanted to recreate that on a clean and simple card. So I'm going ahead and I am adding various elements using these masked die cuts, and I'm creating sort of a collage of trees, and it's sort of abstract and it's supposed to be kind of messy and fun, and I'm really enjoyed the end result here once all of the different masks were layered one on top of the other. So it should kind of look like some are behind or ahead of some of the others. So I'm just simply doing my backgrounds for each of the cards here, and then I'm going to set them aside so that I could do all my stamping and adding accents at the very end. So for my second card panel, I am doing these palm trees here that kind of has the little one off to the side, and I'm going to be doing the same color combination. I might do them in different orders each time, just like I did in the first one, and I'm going ahead just this time with one single color instead, or one single die cut instead of layering them one on top of the other, just to get a little bit of a different look. So this is a great way that you could use your die cuts in a whole other way. So instead of just die cutting an image, you could also use that negative space there to create masks. So for my third panel, I have masked off an area that is a rectangle shape, and I'm going to go ahead and add these 3 colors again, the Puffy Heart, the Warm Sunshine, and Lagoon. And I'm going to blend the 2 colors together with each other in as best as I can. And this mask is going to create a nice frame around the card and keep it very clean and simple. So when I pull off the mask, you'll see I have a really nice strip of color with these 3 colors. These are going to make really great sets because they're all going to match each other. So on this last panel here, I'm going to start first with creating the different stamped images. I'm going to stamp the palm tree that I used on the second card for the die, and I'm going to stamp that a couple of times using VersaFine ink. I wanted to really get that crispness, so I used some VersaFine ink. Then for the sentiment, I had to choose on the Never Give Up, and the Never Give Up stamp set has some really beautiful sentiments that are really unique that I don't see too often on stamps. So I'm really excited to be able to use those. So for example, this stamp here says, "Difficult roads often lead to beautiful destinations," which is so gorgeous. And then the second sentiment I'm going to stamp onto the second card that I created here is "Never Give Up." And then the third one here on this really pretty collage that I created with different various masks, I am going to be stamping 2 different sentiments here. So one really bold in the script sentiment, "Stay strong," and "The harder the struggle, the more glorious the triumph." Now I'm just going ahead and attaching these to some card bases. I'm using 110 pound Nina Solar White cardstock, and I'm scoring it in the middle at 5.5 inches. The original panel measures 11 by 4 1/4. So this is going to give me 3 top folding cards. And lately I've been really experimenting with different white frames. So you can see I've mounted them all on some 3D foam tape, and I have a really good 1/2 inch border on each side for those ones. And then you can see on this last one, I left it sort of my traditional size at 4 by 5 1/4, so you get that sort of 1/4 of an inch border, and it makes such a difference between the framing of the card. So here's a final look at the 3 cards that I made with that set before moving on to the second set of cards that I create. So my next set of cards features the Everything About You stamp from Altenew. And I'm going to be stamping a little bit different here. So you can see I'm pulling off the very front of the stamp set here instead of the back, so that I'm able to place this stamp super easily onto my MISTI. And I'm going to pick up all the stamps just the way that they are because they're so perfectly straight right now. And if I were to try and put them on there perfectly straight on myself, it would take a really long time. So I actually put the whole stamp on my MISTI and then just removed these side images here as well as the I love, and I left all of those other ones here so I can create a really neat background. So as you can see, I'm inking up in my lightest color, and before I stamp down, I actually grab a paper towel and I just brush my edges a little bit to give them not a harsh line when I stamp. So I'm going to go back in with the top, and I'm just going to keep going until I feel like the solidity of the stamps is perfect and it's exactly the way that I want them to be. I personally find stamping twice using Altenew inks really gets a really nice impression, and that's why I love stamping with my MISTI stamping tool. And once the ink dries, it seeps so nice into the paper for a solid image. So that's how I created an ombre look. Now I'm going to go do ahead the technique, but this time I'm going to be using a rainbow technique. So I'm going ahead and I'm starting in Roybji Biv order. I stamp the red and I stamp the yellow, and you can see I go in with that paper towel and just smudge my edges each time. And you can see how I got that orange look in between because I was able to go ahead and smudge those edges. I'm then going in with sort of a violet-y pink color. And then I went in with some green. Now this didn't look the greatest. I have to say the two colors didn't mesh very well. However, I went ahead and I covered all of these later with a really big sentiment, so it was okay. So I just keep stamping and smudging the edges until I'm satisfied. And then for my last one, I decided to just do a plain black and white classic card, and I stamped that there in VersaFine ink. And now I have all 3 of my backgrounds, and I'm able to finish off my cards really easily. So I'm just going to go ahead and add these sentiments back onto my stamp set as straight as I possibly can, just in case I want to do this technique again in the future. So I'm going to go take that big I love, and I'm going to be stamping it right in the middle in some black ink. So really, really great card, a nice encouragement card to send to a friend. Like, I love everything about you, and then all of the different things you love about them. And they're also in varying fonts, which makes really nice, or varying size of font rather. And then having the brush letters with those really clear stamps in the background make it look so cool. I then went ahead and I grabbed some jewel drops. They're actually in gray. You could also grab some multi-matte liquid adhesive and then add some to the top, and I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. It's going to create some bubble letters in a really shiny and heavy look. And when this dries clear, of course. So I set those all off to the side. I let that one actually dry overnight. And then I prepped my card panels just like I did in the first part of the video, added my 3D foam tape, and then added that to the front of the card. So that's just got such a cool look. It kind of cracked as well when it dried. It looks really neat. And I just needed a way for the I love to stick out from that black background. There's the ombre card, and then lastly is my rainbow card. And you'll see that even though the green didn't work out too well, it's pretty much completely covered by the I love, and I think it looks fantastic once it's all finished. I think that's a really good testament, is that you shouldn't throw out a card until you've seen it dry and you see the look of it, because it could look really neat in the end. So I hope you enjoyed today's card tutorial. If you're interested in another video, I've linked to another Altenew video there in my suggested videos, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching.